What's up, guys? Coming to you. Want to talk to you about our top 10 Marvel heroes.
Woo!
So,
Marvel, because we love Stan Lee and he died last week. So this is another way to tribute
Yes, it
to
is
him.
last week, isn't it?
It is, and it's crazy. It feels like not that long ago, and yet feels like so
Forever
long ago. Yeah.
I've already felt like eternity away from him.
Yeah.
Sad. Anyways, but I was talking to Lewis yesterday, and I was like, you know what we haven't done is the Marvel heroes, so that's what we're doing today.
So if you were wanting that, we're fulfilling that request, even if you haven't spoken it. Because we're that good. We're that in tune with our audience.
So, we'll announce now in case you see this in a few minutes at about 4:15 today. We're going live for our Thanksgiving special. So, we're going to talk about what we're thankful for. Anyways, so let's get into it.
Oh, I guess I've got to start. So my number 10 pick would be Le Silver Surfer.
We're pretty excited we got a new board.
It's a what do you call this?
Here, I'll hold it. You
An implement? I don't know. Anyway, Silver Surfer. I just love.
Dance over.
I love the sacrifice he made to save his home planet. I know that there's more to it than that, but I just think that it's just a really cool thing. I love that he's more of a noble character. Like he's like one of Marvel's pure characters in the DC kind of mold. In a lot of ways, I think he is Stan Lee's Superman. And for a while, Stan Lee was the only one allowed to write the Silver Surfer. And I thought that was really cool. He's mega powerful. He's probably the most powerful superhero in the Marvel Universe. And we'll probably make a video about that at some point.
Doesn't he kind of start off as like a villain, being the Herald of Galactus?
Okay, but...
Or does he show up before then?
No, he shows up as the Herald of Galactus. And promptly stomps the Fantastic Four because he's mega powerful. But then he has a conversation, I can't remember if it's with Sue or Alicia. They've done both versions in the movies and the cartoons. So it's I think it's Alicia, and she shows him humanity. And his heart is broken that this group of people are about to be destroyed. And he comes to himself, like he comes to a realization of sort of the moral aspect of what it is Galactus has had him doing as his herald. And so he rejects that. He turns against his master. That doesn't change the battle. He is not powerful enough to overwhelm Galactus, even with the help of the Fantastic Four. But anyway, he should have left him. Yeah. He does get stuck on Earth for a while, and that leads to some really awesome adventures where Doctor Doom stole his power, cosmic, and trounced the Fantastic Four. And
trounced.
Yes, that's right. Years ago, somebody... No, I'm kidding. I was going to say somebody bought me a word a day calendar. No, I read comics, and good comics have excellent vocabulary words that you might not normally know. Anyway.
All right.
So, I love Silver Surfer. Awesome character. Go read some of his old stuff because it's amazing. And if nothing else, buy that issue that has him and Thor on it fighting. It's Jack Kirby really at his peak. Pretty sure it's Kirby. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's beautiful.
So my number 10 is Gambit.
Boo. I was telling him today I have one of the early appearances of Gambit.
So I didn't know much about Gambit. You want to hold it?
Yes.
I didn't know a whole lot about Gambit when until I was a little kid. And I guess some of the first diving into comic books I got was really the X-Men show from the 90s.
X-Men.
And that's how I learned Gambit. I was like, that's an awesome power to have, like be able to charge stuff and and then have perfect aim. And he always flicked cards. So I always loved flicking cards. So that was just a really cool power that I thought. And of course, I saw one episode where he charges an entire robot. What do they call them?
Sentinels.
Sentinels. He charges an entire Sentinel, to explode, which is pretty crazy. So I just thought it was really cool, both that he was had perfect aim and that he kind of an outlier character, and he was just kind of a hip kind of guy, had a trench coat. I love the look for the character, and love the basic power just to be able to charge things to explode. So I was a little more crazy when I was a kid, and one of my friends was a pyro, so we had a lot of fun with that. But
he was smarmy in a charming kind of way.
So he doesn't have any X-Men on this list, I don't think.
He's wrong.
Maybe one.
No, I have a whole team.
Oh, all right. So that's my number 10 is Gambit. I really love the character. He was on my X-Men list. If you haven't seen that,
go watch that video.
Watch that video too.
Yeah, I guess we can link to that, right?
Yeah, at the end we'll link to it at the end. So there you go. Gambit, number 10.
Keep talking.
Okay.
I did not understand the way this.
The process of how this works.
That's right. I've got to figure out which one is number 9. Oh, never mind. There he is.
Oh, me.
Number 9.
We're experiencing technical difficulties. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I like the Silver Surfer too. I didn't put him on my list.
See, I went above and beyond for number 9, Daredevil, and I did his cool little.
For a second, I thought it was Deadpool,
symbol.
but then I was like, okay. So
No, I'm not as.
Well, I was looking at it backwards on the screen.
Sure, I'm not as into Deadpool as everybody else, but I do like Daredevil. I think he's interesting power set. I like that he gets the crap kicked out of him and comes back to oftentimes win. He's suffered loss. He's a very human character in that regard. Dude, he's a ninja, and he's blind. So I don't know. Those are all really cool attributes. One of the things that I do like about him is he's something of a swashbuckling character. So you're like, what's a swashbuckler? If you go back and watch old movies like Errol Flynn is a swashbuckler. So they used to have pirate movies and the guys who would swing from the ropes and sword fight and do all kinds of things. Princess Bride, the Inigo Montoya versus the Masked Man.
It's pirate versus swashbuckler.
Yes. It's just awesome, like having that devil may care attitude. So I much prefer Daredevil to not be such a bleh character, but to be more of a fun character. So I really am thinking like the Carl Kessel run in the mid-'90s after Daredevil had been dark for so long. It was like breathing fresh air. Go check out, I think it's issue number 354. He teams up with Ben Reilly, Spider-Man at the time, and it's hilarious. They fight some no-name villain called Shotgun, and they keep making fun of him throughout the fight.
Yeah.
Like at one point, they're like, no, get that guy. Like it's perfect. Like it encapsulates so much of what I love about Daredevil.
The TV show is really good too.
Yeah, I really need to watch that.
Very dark, but it's really good.
Well, as long as he keeps the.
Yeah, it's probably the best.
I really think of Daredevil as like a darker version of Spider-Man in a lot of ways. And for the record,
without the mouth.
I want a little bit of that though, like jokes, cracking jokes, and
does
things.
He crack jokes?
Daredevil? Yeah, I'll have to lend you some
okay.
stuff. Anyway,
I'm all right with that.
I'm actually not that hateful toward the Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have like the unpopular opinion that I actually enjoyed the movie.
I didn't like the costume as much, but the scene where the dude drops his lighter and there's the symbol there, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Because I love that symbol. I mean, that's the...
How do you spell it?
Yeah, no, with a Y instead of I. Anyway, yeah, but the Kingpin, Daredevil dynamic, yeah, that's how it goes. Except with the... Yeah. Anyway... The Kingpin dynamic, I don't know, it's just something about that. Because it feels impossible for Daredevil to win. And when he does, you're like, yes, this is what I want to happen. I want the good guy to win. I want to feel vindicated for cheering on the good guy. Even though he's deeply flawed and he's got an interesting cast of characters. Yeah. But anyway, just excellent stuff.
I will say I do understand the critiques of the movie, so I understand why people don't like it, but I enjoyed it.
The director's cut is much better because they have more courtroom stuff, and that's just really cool because I always dug that. I'm into detective shows, so when you incorporate courtroom drama into your stuff.
All right, my number 9, Kitty Pryde. I love Kitty Pryde. She's
The pride of the X-Men.
so she starts off as more of the younger kid that's being trained, and I guess I first heard of her. She's not in the cartoon, is she?
Not
really.
Well,
she might show up, but she's not really in there.
She might have had a cameo.
But
there's an '80s comic that has her in it.
Well, she's more. I really learned about her in the TV or the movies.
Right.
And
she ain't even that good in that.
I instantly loved the character, especially X-Men 2. She did a lot more than the first one. At first, like, she's more of a cameo where she runs through a wall, and then eventually you start to learn about the character. But I mean, she kind of like I love the Kitty Pryde Storm relationship, the mother or the big sister, little sister kind of thing, and then Kitty Pryde really, when she gets to be older, she becomes more of a motherly figure to the whole X-Men as well, and a lot of the younger characters. So I really love that aspect of the character. I thought she was really good in the Days of Future Past, where they go back in time and she's kind of holding Wolverine, sending him back. I know it's not her normal power set, but I thought it was really interesting.
She was supposed to be the one to go back in time.
Yeah, it might have even been better because I'm not a big Wolverine fan.
Me either. Despite this right here.
Yeah, that was inherited by a roommate. So I was like, I might as well keep it, right?
Right.
Anyways, so I love the character. She's a lot of fun. I love the Kitty Pryde and Colossus relationship. That's really great. So yeah,
she's got that relationship.
Love the character.
She's got that relationship with Wolverine too, with father-daughter kind of thing. She's in that regard the prototype Jubilee.
Yeah.
He taught her a lot of martial arts and that sort of thing, and I know that. I caught that. But where's the pen?
It's right here.
You're hiding it from me.
That's my fault.
But yeah, no, she's.
We're really nailing these transitions.
That's right.
That's okay. That's okay.
You'll take that too.
I will take the
Thank
pen.
you. Number 8, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
does whatever a spider can. Does he swing on a web? Yes, look out. Here comes Spider-Man. Is there anything about this character that isn't lovable?
Right.
He's got a sad backstory.
I assume you're Peter Parker.
Yes. No offense to Miles Morales, because I think, he would have been a better fit in Homecoming. We've said that at least 5 times. I feel like it bears repeating.
Yeah. Would have been better.
But I have my Tobey Maguire movies, and by that I mean the first 2.
Not the third one.
No, never the third one, Marvel. It could have been great. Should have been great. But then it was what it was. So, man, I went so excited about that movie, and I was planning the 4th one for you while I was sitting in the theater. But anyway, this character right here, he's the happy-go-lucky guy who gets, the world just keeps knocking him down, and he refuses to stay down. One of my single favorite issues of Spider-Man is number 350. He's had the snot kicked out of him by Dr. Doom, and he's fighting with a concussion, and he keeps fighting. And he keeps fighting, and he doesn't beat Dr. Doom because that's not what it's about, but he overcomes, and I like overcomers.
He overcomes without beating.
Well, Dr. Doom is not technically the villain in that moment. I can't remember. I want to say it's the Life Foundation, but I could be wrong. Yeah. They're trying to bring like this alien horde of creatures to Earth or whatever to give them power, and things go awry. The only reason Dr. Doom is involved is a thief stole Dr. Doom's some jewel he had, like a diamond or something, that had magic powers. And so check that out. It has great Eric Larson art, and also David Michelini. I don't know how you say his name. Michelini. he wrote some amazing Spider-Man stuff, and that is a pun because he wrote Amazing Spider-Man. But no, seriously, it's a great issue. It caps off like a 2-part story, but you could read it by itself and you would have all the information you need to follow along. I found it in the dollar bin at the Comic-Con, not this year, but last year. And I bought another copy because I've just about worn out the first one I had. I love it that much. So if you're into Spider-Man and you want to see why he's so lovable, check that issue out.
All right, my number 8, Thor. I love Thor. He's great.
The mighty Thor.
Now, I mean, I'll admit I didn't really know much about him until the movies. Just to be perfectly honest, but I really.
To be perfectly honest, Chris Hemsworth has made that character.
It's really great, especially the third movie, which is amazing.
And Infinity War.
And Infinity War, just great, amazing. I do love the older character. I actually have a comic right here. Right
nice.
There. That's a cool look for
Thor.
But
John Romita Jr.
You know, I love his hammer that you have to wield to be or be worthy to wield. I think that's just an amazing attribute to that. So like he could always lose his worthiness, and he does sometimes.
Sorry, I was looking at your list. You conveniently missed somebody.
Did I?
Related to this character.
Related to what character? The one you're putting down?
No, the character we're talking about right now.
Okay. Oh! I did conveniently miss somebody.
But you can lump them together.
Okay, so, actually, Lewis is reminding me of somebody that I like even more than Thor, which is Beta Ray Bill.
Woo!
I love Beta Ray Bill. I like both of them, honestly. I love the relationship that the two of them have, because Beta Ray Bill, like, is so humble. He sees himself as a lesser of Thor, but he's still like good friends with him.
He's still worthy. That's what clued me in on that. I'm like, wait a second, is he on your list? No. Okay, so that's what clued me.
And so
you're welcome.
I love the two characters. I like the more like Shakespearean dialogue that goes on with them, and
that works much better.
They're very mythological. Very mythological too, and like I grew up in high school watching Stargate, and so like Thor was one of my favorite characters in that, and he's an alien in that. I guess he's sort of an alien in this.
In the movies.
In the TV show, like he's a gray alien, and he's always there to help people, and so like I grew to know Norse mythology, and then when I found out there was a Thor in comic books, I was like, dude, this is awesome. And anytime we played that Marvel
Ultimate Alliance that was my character too, dude, because he was super strong and he had lightning power.
I was either him or I'd be Wolverine, only because he healed himself.
Right.
But I usually like Thor because he could fly. So I mean, I love flying characters. But if they had Beta Ray Bill, I would totally be him instead. So
they?
They didn't.
I know they had Thunderstrike.
They didn't. Yeah, it's sad. But I love Thor. He's great. I love. In that one, he kind of has like this big, like, bravado characteristic where he's kind of always like hearty and chuckling about his great conquerors, which is one thing I like about Aquaman and the one of the I think it's Brave and the Bold TV show.
Oh yes,
he's very funny. He's kind of always chuckling around and talking about how great he is, and it's hilarious. So he's similar to that in that game.
Well, I mean, after 50 years of nobody caring about him, I guess he's got to care about himself.
So yeah, I love it. I love the character. Beta Ray Bill is amazing too.
Yeah.
And I do like a special mention of Frog Thor.
Frog.
I love him. He's great. So, anyways, yeah.
I just want to say before we move on, I love Thor's backstory. He takes on the human character Donald Blake because his dad wants to teach him humility.
Yeah.
Something cool to that.
That's a really cool story. I mean, it feels just like a mythological story, too.
Right, yeah.
So it fits the character perfectly.
All right. Oh, the Invaders, number 7. I did it fast because they invaded your screen. And you're like, who are the Invaders?
Well, now they invaded the screen.
Okay. They're essentially the World War II version of the Avengers. I spelled it right. You just got
the 7. It's really tiny.
Oh. Sorry. You can make it bigger when you erase it and have to rewrite it.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, I picked them because you get your Captain America fix in there. You get your Namor the Submariner. You get the original Human Torch. You get Union Jack, who's this cool British character. You get the Wizard, who's got a stupid name, but he's sort of the Flash. You get Miss America and Spitfire and all these other great characters that you wouldn't have any clue about. But God bless you, Roy Thomas. I'm so thankful that you... I dig stories set during wars, and this is set during World War II. So this, Justice Society, All-Star Squadron, all that stuff is really cool to me because you kind of have an idea where the end is coming, but how you get there can have twists and turns. And so I just really dug that. Yeah, so... beautiful artwork, Dave Hoover. I saw what you did, and I appreciated it. I was intrigued by the mystery of the miniseries in the 90s. When I saw it on the shelves, I'm like, hey, there's Captain America. Hey, I know that guy and that guy. And I was like, let me get this book. And it was great. So check out The Invaders. Numerous trades that are available for super cheap. Good reads, though.
All right, my number 7. Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen, she's a new character. How dare you? Be away with you.
So what I love the character, I mean, the costume is amazing. I mentioned that in my other video where I did Marvel versus DC. Cool. So I love the she's got the white suit for Spider-Man, and she's got like the black and pink accent depending on who's drawing her, and then she's got the hood, which is awesome. But then, like, I love that she has basically the reverse story of Peter Parker, where in Peter Parker's universe, she dies, he tries to save her, and in her universe, she becomes Spider-Man or Spider-Woman, and ends up trying to save him, but he dies. And so I really think that's really interesting, and just
sad.
Yeah, I mean, really sad. I love when the two of them meet for the first time, and you know, they both have the same emotional reaction because, you know, in their universes, the other is dead. And but I'm actually a fan of Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales together, interestingly. But
this character's backstory makes me question our friendship because the only way this works is in the One More Day or something like. Anyway, where Mephisto does away with the Mary Jane Spider-Man marriage. Because otherwise, this would be like, oh no, or
you just say that one of the Peter Parkers is in another universe.
I just mean the emotional, because it would concern me if he were still married.
Unless
that he's like suddenly
Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, well, there's that.
Marvel doesn't care about continuity, so
usually they don't.
Usually, but I love the character. She's great, and you know, I think it's just I think that's, in my opinion, the best way to have a female Spider-Man.
Yes.
Or you can always do the Petra Parker. I think that's what her name is. She's the female Peter Parker. But you know, that's the Spider-Verse. But I really love the character. I think she's really great. I like. So I actually don't have Peter Parker on my list. I love Peter Parker, but he's not maybe in my top 10 because I like the characters that have come around him better. So there's a hint as to who might be next. So. All right, that's it.
Anyway, this character probably belongs in my top 5, but because of some of the other teams that I've got listed higher, number 6 is the Hulk. Hulk smash. He's way into the top 5. No, I'm just kidding. What's not to love? You have the option to do the science aspect. You have the option to do the horror aspect. You have the option to do anger management stories. You have the option to do love stories, Beauty and the Beast kind of thing.
Bruce Banner Hulk.
There is no other Hulk.
There is Hulk.
I said Hulk. If I wanted She-Hulk, I would have said She-Hulk. I won't address that topic now. But anyway, I love the original Hulk. I love the Smart Hulk. I love the Gray Hulk. And I like it when they hang out together and work well. Yeah, no, I just... Yes, no. He is one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, super strong, super smart. Put them all together, you've got an amazing, or even incredible character. Can we say that on here? Incredible character. Anyway, yeah, no.
6 got stronger. He got mad and became Hulk. The Hulk 6.
I wish I had brought that picture I got from the Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Such a great picture.
I almost hate erasing this now because it's awesome.
Take a picture and then erase it.
There we go.
It's not like we don't have it on video.
That's fair.
Yeah, no. So there's so much about the character that this video won't allow for me to tell you all the things I love about
we're
him.
amusing ourselves here.
Hopefully you're enjoying this too. Yeah, I love when he goes up against characters like the Abomination, strength versus strength. I love that he also has the option to go against a more cerebral character like the Leader. That's my only discouragement thus far about the Marvel having the Hulk characters. They haven't been able to do a proper Leader story. So
there we go. He's mad.
I'm mad.
Yeah. There we go. I thought about putting angry, but I felt like that was too
long. I don't know what else you could do with the number.
Yeah, I don't know.
To really
capture. Give him a cape.
Hulk doesn't want. Hulk no wear cape.
This is Super Hulk.
There's no such thing.
Keep talking.
That's not true. At one point, Banner did get the powers of Captain Universe.
I think,
and he was mega powerful. Which is silly because he's already mega powerful.
I think the one thing that I love about Hulk that nobody ever does is he's. I love Bruce Banner. I love the debate with the good and evil within himself, and I mean everybody focuses on the Hulk itself, but I really love the aspect of Bruce Banner because he's trying not to be the killer monster, and you know, but yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, so I like the character probably, you know, at least a little bit because of the Jekyll and Hyde dynamic, and honestly, that's the best part of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen's movie is the Hyde and Jekyll
that's
stuff.
really good. All right, my number 6.
Number 6.
Doctor Strange. I kind of put that upside down backwards because it's strange, right?
Right.
And I left the Hulk, man, because why not?
Should.
Here you go.
Oh, I'm supposed to
hold the thing.
I'm supposed to hold this now.
I love Doctor Strange. One of my favorite parts about him is that he's magic based, and I think he's a cooler version of Dr. Fate, even though I love Dr. Fate.
I think Dr. Fate has probably the cooler looking costume.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
but
I like both.
At least the helmet is really cool.
I like both, yeah. I mean, I like both, but I would have to choose Doctor Strange because I like his backstory. He's well, I mean, I love the cape. The cape is amazing, especially in the movies. That it has a mind of its own, but I also like that he kind of is like this confident guy who ends up losing everything.
Yep.
And then he has to crawl his way back to the top. And he still keeps some of that, but he actually has a little more humility now.
Yes.
And so I love that he's kind of back and forth between being a jerk and being brilliant and humble. And
yes.
so I love it. He's a lot of fun. And when they announced the movie, my first reaction was like, Benedict Cumberbatch, that's the guy for Doctor Strange. And they got him. I was like,
I was so excited by that too.
I was like, thank God, this is the perfect dude for this guy, because he has that same act in Sherlock. If you've ever watched that British show, which is really good. I love Doctor Strange. I think he's really great. I like magic-based characters when they're done well, and so I think that they have some really cool options that the major heroes don't have. Like, so in DC, I love Raven, I love Dr. Fate, I like Zatanna, I like all these characters. Where's this Donna? So yeah, he's the main magic guy in the Marvel universe as far as I'm concerned.
He is
And,
absolutely the best.
Really great.
He was one of my favorite parts of the fourth Avengers movie.
Yeah, he was great in his own
I'm
movie,
totally
too.
okay if he wants to take over as the leader of the Avengers.
The Avengers. I love everything about him. He's a great character. So that's about all I got.
All right.
You're writing an essay over there.
I am, because I'm very thorough. Number 5. We're in the top 5. Did you know that?
Yeah.
The West Coast Avengers West Coast. Hawkeye leading the team. Iron Man with his Silver Centurion armor, as well as War Machine. You got Wonder Man, who's like Superman, but not exactly. And then my favorite version of the Spider-Woman character. Yes, sir. All that. You just check the boxes, and I'm like, I'm there. Let's do this. I think the first issue I picked up had Spider-Man guest starring in it, and I'm like, okay, that sounds great. Let's do this, you know. And there's so much about the comic. It's weird at times. It's funny about all the time. There's emotional stakes with the Hawkeye Mockingbird relationship. There's Wonder Man wearing a really stupid costume very early on. It looks like a walking Christmas tree. It's like green and red and yellow, but not in any sort of pattern that would be pleasing to the eye. It's really hurts the eye. What does that say? Hulk?
6 Hulk. Sad he not included.
Yeah. Well, you move around a lot, Hulk. That's
not
why.
Hulk. 6 Hulk.
6 Hulk. Right. Well.
I got a little 6 Hulk there if you can see it.
Oh, because I erased the 6. Yeah. All right. That's my fault. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave him out. He'd probably make the current Avengers West Coast or West Coast Avengers worth checking out.
Oh, we're on 5. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, what's not to love? They're plucky. They're able to take out powerful bad guys like Graviton and Ultron and stuff like that. And they have their drama. So, just amazing stuff. Let's see. If you want some good stuff to check out, again, I can't recommend highly enough the Avengers Annual number 16 and the West Coast Avengers Annual number 2. That was some of my earliest exposure to it, and it's an amazing Hawkeye moment at the end of that, how he pulls the wind out of nowhere. Not out of his quiver, but out of the utility pouch. He was doing that junk before Batman started doing that junk all the time. Except for the shark thing. No, but Wonder Man, he had a cool backstory too. He died and came back and couldn't be killed and yet worried about dying and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, I was like, what are you doing? He is his blasts are powerful enough to do some serious damage, so it's not a bad move.
All right.
His number 5,
Cyclops
with a bullet.
And I got a little Cyclops there blasting 6 Hulk, so you get a little story in our thing.
5 clocks.
No, 5 Clops. So I love, yes sir, I love 5 Clops.
Still better than Biclops.
I love Cyclops. He's great. He's my favorite X-Man, hands down. And
because he's got a little thing on a trigger on his thing that opens his visor, so even with his hands down, he can still blast you.
Yeah, well, I think he's really cool that he's got this power that he's afraid to hurt people with, and so he's afraid of his own power. Which is similar to Bruce Banner.
Yeah, they did a great job with that on the cartoon show.
But he's a natural leader, and he leads the X-Men, probably the best leader of the X-Men, I think. And he's very strategic minded, and I love the Jean Grey and Cyclops relationship there.
Yes, that's the right relationship, Marvel.
And
not Emma Frost.
He's troubled, but he's always overcomes and for the greater good of the cause for the X-Men. So really love the character.
He's sold out for the dream of mutant and human coexistence.
And when faced with 6 Hulk, he
blast him off the board with a
pow.
Pow pow.
So I was disappointed with him in the
Oh my
in
goodness.
the movies. It was terrible. He was great in the TV show in the 90s.
Yes, that's a perfect.
I don't know why everybody hates on Cyclops. I don't know.
Well, when I was a kid, I thought he was more boring than anything, and I'm like, that's just bad writing, not the character himself.
Yeah.
So.
But I was very disappointed with how he was in the movies. I think whoever wrote it or did it was just a big Wolverine fan.
I think they were worried Wolverine's the only thing that would sell. And I'm like, you guys don't understand the fandom here.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're great. Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey. Those three alone should be able to sell the X-Men. But then you add, if you add Beast and you add Xavier and you add Nightcrawler and, you know, Kitty Pryde, Rogue, Jubilee, all these great characters. You got Gambit. If they had added all these amazing guys, we would have been great.
Right. There's a way they could have easily killed Wolverine after the second movie and transitioned to a bigger story with other characters.
Left them out.
Well, yeah.
Although it did make sense for the Rogue story they were going on, but honestly, I didn't think Rogue really needed to be the central focus of it.
Yeah, it was weird to me too. Storm would have been a better focal point, and I think Halle Berry would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
And she would have stuck with the character, but.
It would have been great because she could have mentored Kitty Pryde in the movie, and
right.
That would have been amazing.
Powerful woman mentoring.
But they did,
a young lady.
They're always afraid to have a strong female lead.
Alrighty then. Number 4, Excalibur, and you're like, who's that? And I say, the British X-Men. Chris Claremont, Alan Davis, his artwork is phenomenal. Their stories are wacky, yet totally superhero-y. They get some Arthurian legend.
It's more like a lambda than a...
Yeah, I don't know Greek letters. I'm sorry. It's a 4.
Okay.
I mean, I could have made it a Fantastic Four.
A Fantastic Four.
You want me to do that? Let me have this while we're talking. Yeah. So Excalibur.
It's Marvel.
There. Is that better?
That's better.
Anyway, yeah, I remember reading. So Marvel used to have these cards in the 90s, and there was this dude named Kylun. Basically, it's supposed to sound like Colin, but it was spelled Kylun. He looked like a lion-faced dude. He had 2 swords, and he was in armor, and it looked cool to me. And I looked up his first appearance, and it was in an Excalibur book, because that's really only where he ever was. And I got hooked on that story. Marvel used to sell these packs of old comics, and it had most of the story in it. I had to track down, but I have all 125 issues of the Excalibur series, plus the 2 annuals, plus the various specials that they put out over the years. So I'm a true Excalibur fan. I have multiple copies of their first appearance, but you got Nightcrawler, who's one of my favorite X-Men. You got Captain Britain, who's tied into all this excellent British mythology stuff. You've got Kitty Pryde, who is just a wonderful character. She's something like my X-Men crush. Like, I just thought she was a great character. She's down to earth. She's a sort of normal, as opposed to some of the other X-ladies. Most artists don't draw her as scantily clad as the other ones, so I kind of appreciated that she was more modest. That, something that appeals to me. So anyway, yeah. Eventually, Colossus comes over, and he's one of my favorites too. So can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, can't you?
I don't think so.
There you go.
The last issue features an awesome instance of continuity where Megan and Brian, Captain Marvel, finally get married. And they have a bunch of guest stars who had various roles throughout the series. Yeah, no. I'm telling
I'm
you, check it out. It's so good.
I'm having fun with this board. That's what we're left. Miles Morales. He's my favorite Spider-Man character. I do like Spider-Ham as well. I think he's fun.
Peter Porker.
Just great. Just like Frog Thor. I like Spider-Ham, Beta Ray Bill, all these
ancillary characters.
Yeah. Anyways, Miles Morales is great. I think he's even better than
Beta Ray
Peter
Bill
Parker.
is not a horse. He just looks like a horse. He's from
he's
alien race.
anamorphized.
But he's not truly a horse.
Well, I know he's not truly a horse, but he looks like he. Whatever. Anyways, whatever. He's horse-ish.
That's right.
Horse-ish.
You better watch your mouth. You can get us banned on YouTube.
Anyways, Miles Morales, I love Miles. He's great. I was really disappointed that they didn't use him in Homecoming because honestly, they took everything about Miles Morales and put it in the movie and then named him Peter Parker. I was like, seriously? Like you couldn't have just done Miles Morales? Like, come on. Would have been much better. We could have had the black suit.
Yeah.
Would have been awesome.
With the red accents, I like that.
I love that he has different powers than Spider-Man.
Doesn't he have like stings or
He
something?
has like a venom blast, and he's also got an invisibility. He can go invisible, which is pretty sweet.
That's awesome. That would have totally fit within the context of this movie,
Yeah.
where he was like sneaking into a
It
government facility.
would have been really cool.
Why are you holding this?
I don't know.
That's my job. Notice the artwork, the attention to details.
I know. I should have put like a little Six Hulk down there in the web.
He's trapped. It's a trap.
It's a trap. So I love Miles Morales. He's really great. I mean, I like the idea of Spider-Man. You have a young hero, but what I like about Miles, he's got a strong family. Even though like his parents are kind of always going back and forth, being on the rocks, but that's good development, I think. And he's got his best friend Gonka, I think is his name. I mean, I've never heard a pronunciation of it, so pronunciation. I've never heard anybody else say it, so I don't know. But they basically used the character in the Homecoming movie. So
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Sean.
No problem.
All right.
Number 3, we're in the top 3. How did we get here so fast? Normally this takes us a lot longer. The New Warriors. And if you're asking, who's that? Yeah, I understand. Marvel's answer in the 90s to the New Teen Titans. I've got to get him on this because I really think he would appreciate it. But you've got the leader is Night Thrasher. You've got Nova, Richard Rider, who has come into his own, died, and is he back? I hope he's back.
Who?
Richard Rider, Nova, not Sam Alexander.
He came back a little bit.
Yeah, so kind of hoping they don't just pay Marv Wolfman his money so we can have this character. Fabian Nichiez, I don't know how you say his name, but he was excellent in the 90s. He wrote an awesome New Warriors stuff. And apparently the Six Hulk has now invaded the New Warriors.
There's no question anymore. It's Six Hulk.
Six Hulk is the answer.
There you go. Now you know.
To life's questions.
Now you know who the New Warriors are.
No, you got Rage, you got Namorita, Namor's cousin, that sort of thing. Firestar, excellent character. The first story I read was Nothing But the Truth. One of them is on trial for murdering someone, and they're found guilty.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's 30 years old. I feel like at this point I can... 25 years old. I feel like at this point I can spoil that, right? Anyway, it's got some...
Spoiler alert
beautiful,
for however long ago.
Beautiful Mark Bagley art, and there's guest stars galore throughout. Very, very much worth checking out. Just, if you're into those teen kind of stories, they did those well. As a kid of the 90s, teenager of the 90s, it really resonated with me. So it might not be for everybody, but it was definitely for me. The first series, anyway. The second series, there were moments that you're like, oh, this could be good, but then it really wasn't, and I was really sad. What could have been? But no, seriously, check it out. There's cosmic stories. There's down to earth stories. There's alternate reality stories. There's love stories. Good stuff. Time travel. All that. Don't know how else to say it, but The New Warriors, one of my faves. It took me a while, but I tracked down all 75 issues. Yeah.
We're trying not to laugh with this. What I draw. we're at least making it fun for ourselves. So I hope you're enjoying the animation. Iron Fist, my number 3. You got him punching
Six Hulk.
That's the best I could draw right there. I'm a stick
still
figure guy.
Still better than I can.
I'll
draw.
be honest. I think the main reason this cracks me up, the Six Hulk, is because he reminds me of Trogdor, the Burninator. If you've never seen it, it's great. Trogdor was a man. Maybe he was a dragon man. Or maybe he was a dragon. But he was still Trogdor. YouTube Trogdor, if you've never heard that, it's really great. Anyways, Iron Fist. I love Iron Fist. I was disappointed with how they portrayed him in the TV show.
So were the fans, which is why they canceled it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just he's a pacifist who, and I've talked about this many times. He's a pacifist who fights for his friends and family and for the betterment of his city.
Humanity.
And so he has this dual nature with being a New Yorker, but also being from Kunlun. And
that's not how I would have said it, but you probably said it better than I probably could have.
But he's got all these. He can have like street fighting stories, but also have like mystical journeys to different places.
Fighting dragons, man.
Fighting dragons and stuff. So that's really awesome. But I love like my favorite version that's been on TV that I've seen is from the Ultimate Spider-Man series.
Oh, where he's got more of the surfer influence.
He's got more of like a surfer dude, but he's a pacifist.
I know, right, yeah.
It was the main thing. So he doesn't really seek out the fight; it comes to him. It's more of a Buddhist thought, which I thought was really great.
Totally
really
makes sense.
Really fits the character, and
where he gets his power.
And so I've had a hard time with some of the ones that were like him, all just running around. Like in the first season of the movie, he was constantly searching for a fight. And they did a little bit better in the second half, but then they took him away, and I was like, that's stupid. But anyways, I don't want to get into that. I've got a whole review of Season 2 of Iron Fist, but I love Iron Fist.
We'll link to that video as well.
He's really great.
Have you done that yet?
What?
The review of Iron Fist 2?
Yeah, I've done that.
All right.
So, yeah. It's
excellent costume, too. He's got the half mask that covers the head, and he's got the huge dragon tattoo, and
yeah, that's really
this is a really cool costume, man. So
yeah, I actually have an Iron Fist costume, so that's pretty.
Yes,
sweet.
He went as Iron Fist for Halloween.
For Halloween,
1 year?
2 years ago, I think. 2 years ago, they.
It was after the year you got arrested playing Green Arrow, right?
I didn't get arrested.
I'm kidding.
I had the cops call on us one time because I had a Green Arrow costume and I had a bow and arrow. A little quiver with some like beginners training arrows, and I went to
stuff that would have had trouble sticking into
a youth party. That was a Halloween party, and we had the cops called on us because I looked shady. Well, really, what it was is I had a mask on. I snuck out. I had a hoodie on, and I had a big bow on me, and I went to the door, knocked on the door, and pulled it back.
Right. That's not suspicious.
They're like, he went in, and we haven't seen anyone come out since. It's like, but there's been tons of people who came in.
Right, but I mean, who would have looked out the door, saw the dude holding the bow and arrow at the ready, and said, "Come on in"?
Yeah, I don't
know. The arrow wouldn't have punctured the door.
Oh, anyways.
Might have dented it.
Anyways.
All right, number 2 for me. Iron Man.
Can do anything iron can.
Except press my slacks.
He probably could. He could heat it.
With his repulsor rays?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, anyway, so I've liked Iron Man for a long time. I didn't just start liking him because of the movie. The movie helps me in my Iron Man fandom because I get more of it. But then also I get Iron Man 3. and that's not cool. That's not cool. Iron Man 3. It hurts right here because it should have been this amazing movie that adapted my favorite characters, to something better than we got. That's all I'm saying. I wish we could have seen the suitcase armor in the second one longer, because it's the closest thing we've got to the Silver Centurion armor, and oh my goodness, that's great. 6 Hulk better. You can't tell, but there's a lot of detail in this armor he's wearing.
Yeah.
Ridges and whatnot.
Hey, I drew a little repulsor blast. That's the best I can do, man.
Yeah, but he's falling. So he's falling fast.
That's right, because he got beat by 6 Hulk.
But he wouldn't be firing the blast. As he's falling away, he wouldn't be able to trigger
I didn't think that far into it.
That's okay. That's okay. This is my fandom, though. No, so the first issue of Iron Man that I read, Tony and Rhodey go to space together. Rhodey's rocking the classic armor. Tony's got the Silver Centurion armor. And they just go check out the space station where AIM has taken over. And as they're trying to escape the space station, which has been overrun by this plague virus thing that's on the loose, Rhodey near about burns up on re-entry.
Yeah.
And that mess, like that cover is still one of my favorites. Iron Man 215. Go look at it, and you tell me you don't love Iron Man after looking at that cover. Because if you don't love Iron Man after looking at that cover, look at it again. It is without question one of my favorite pieces of cover art ever. There's nothing about it that isn't impressive to me. Mark Bright was the artist on that. Bob Layton, I think, did the ink on it and stuff. It's a thing of beauty. If I had untold amounts of money, I would get any number of artists to recreate that scene over and over again with different suits of armor, because that's how much I love Iron Man. Also, they put out Iron Man toys after the second Iron Man movie in the 3 3/4 inch scale, G.I. Joe scale. At one point, I had every one of the armors they released.
Yeah.
And I tracked them mugs down because they were a thing of beauty. I've kept some of them, but a couple years ago, I hadn't opened a lot of them, so I just donated them for kids to have Christmas presents. So.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing you look for, and that I've seen in Comic-Con's Iron Man comics.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's because there's so many that I had at one time and gave away to somebody else or traded away, and it's like 90s Iron Man stuff is low-key some of the best comics you can read. Literally start at 200 and work your way forward, and there's not a whole, for 100 issues or so. Well, I guess I can't say that. There's just some things in between bigger storylines that are not as good, but yeah, I don't know. So, Armor Wars, you can't go wrong. Right at issue 300, there's the Crash and Burn. That ran for like 6 issues up to 306, and it was excellent as well. He fought Venom and Thunderstrike, the New Warriors, Hulk. First appearance of the Hulkbuster armor. It's just really good stuff. So can't recommend it highly enough.
My number 2, the Fantastic Four. You got the Human Torch blowing the 2 up because he wants it to be a 4.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even think about it, but
you will be a 4. I was like, what's going on?
It's kind of a symbolic of what's been going on in the comics with the Marvel 2-in-1. He wants. Well, I'm just making it up as I go because I wanted to make it make sense.
Human Torch wanted the 4 back, right? And they were in the 2-in-1, so now they're the 4.
Can't really
again.
see, but he's kind of blasting a fire blast at the 2.
Yeah,
he's turning the 4.
He's sending the signal flare.
It's not as cool as 6 Hulk. Anyways,
nothing is as cool as 6 Hulk.
6 Hulk. I love the Fantastic Four.
What's not to like?
I'll say that I haven't always liked them because I didn't really know that much about them until fairly recently, I'd say. But I instantly fell in love. You have this family. dynamic that goes with them, and I think that's just really excellent. And I love it. You know, you have a family who wants to be together all the time, and they fight together, and they go on adventures together. I think that's just really cool. And I love that they bicker at each other. It's always funny. They always go on these wild, crazy adventures, and really, they do heroing, but like 90% of what they're doing is really just adventuring,
Science.
trying to learn stuff and be adventurers. It's pretty sweet. So that's the Fantastic Four for me. I'm sure Lewis could talk about them forever.
I really could. So my introduction to the Fantastic Four, as I've said before, was the old cartoons, which aren't the greatest. They don't hold up that well. But then I started reading comics in the 90s, and Tom DeFalco's run, which some folks unfairly...
I was laughing.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I showed him the Hulk 6 again. 6 Hulk, sorry. Yeah, but Fantastic Four is great, and you know I think that's why I love the Terrifics so much, because they're basically the Fantastic Four for DC, and of course DC does it better. But
well, that's not true. You just haven't been exposed to the right Fantastic Four comics.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway,
but I would put the Terrifics over the Fantastic Four in like 6 issues versus like what's being written now in Fantastic Four. I'd do Terrifics. Better.
Right. Well,
I wouldn't say Terrifics are better than like the history of the Fantastic Four.
Once they get the 4 back, maybe you'll be able to enjoy it more.
I mean, I enjoyed the Fantastic Four book right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, I'm just gonna move out of the way. One right there.
Anyways,
there's my favorite character, right? Nope.
You're on number 1.
Right there. That guy right there. It's clobbering time. Number 1 is the Thing. He has, to me, one of the most interesting looks in all of comics. I mean, what's not to love? He's a giant rock guy who's, he's streetwise. He's not the smartest egg in the room, which as a kid reading Reed Richards' dialogue, when the Thing said, "Stretcho, put it in English," you're like, I'm so glad you're here, Thing, because I'd have no idea what's going on if you weren't. I mean, literally, the first Fantastic Four comic I read, he had lost his powers. He's rocking a Thing suit, and he's got to fight Power Man, Luke Cage. And I'm like, dude, I'm sold. I don't know why he's in a Thing costume, because it confused me.
That's the best I got.
There you go. So you have the Thing. I'm not sure if Six Hulk is afraid or not.
He's facing this way, so he's running away.
Yeah, he's running away. Okay, that's what I interpreted it as. Because he's not really the Hulk, you see. This is really the Thing. This is not really the Hulk. That's Six Hulk.
Right.
So that's different.
He's met his match.
That's right. Anyway. So just the fact that the Thing is a hero even without his powers, he's like, I'll put on this exosuit that's kind of stupid looking. And it's stupid looking because, it doesn't function quite like his powers. It doesn't give him the full strength that he has ordinarily. And he likes to fight the Hulk. That's fun. He's as funny as Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And he, even when he's getting beat up, he's still funny. He's like, screw you, Dr. Doom. I might not know what you're saying, but I'm going to put my fist in your face. What are you going to say about that, sucker? I mean, I love the Thing. He had excellent runs by himself, excellent runs in the Marvel 2-in-1 comic back in the day. He takes a beating and keeps on ticking, and there's something lovable about that. If you don't love the Thing, it hurts my heart. Like, I don't know what's not to love about the Thing. He's the best thing about that first official Fantastic Four movie too.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Anyway,
my number 1, Captain America, and I got the shield instead of a star. It's Six Hulk.
hey, what's the song?
When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Especially with the Six Hulk. The villains will yield.
All those who oppose his will must yield. Something like that. I love Cap. I love Cap. Similar.
Bucky caught your shield, and he didn't yield.
I love the. We do really enjoy the how it should have ended things when they're talking about really anything with the Super Cafe and the Villain Pub. Those are hilarious. Anyways, but I love Captain America. Those are my favorite movies in the Marvel MCU.
Heart and soul. Is soul of the Marvel Universe.
So I really love it. It's really great. He's I really love the character. He's true to justice and the American way, and he wants to. He always has he's the moral compass of the MCU.
Mm-hmm. So when you make him a Nazi sympathizer, like Hydra Cat,
yes. Not a Nazi. That's a Six Hulk. Just for clarification.
Right. That doesn't even. Like,
I'm just.
You
clarifying.
insult the two Jewish guys who created this character, Captain America, not Six Hulk. We created him. But no, seriously.
I think I have
Joe Simon.
rights over that.
Yeah. You should.
There you go.
Yeah. Joe Simon, Jack Kirby, eternally indebted. This character has really come to life. I loved him in the 90s. Mark Grunwald's run was amazing. He narrowly missed making my list.
Incredible. Sorry, I was thinking Six Hulk. Yeah. I'm on the wrong hero. There's Captain America.
Yes. I don't know what his adjective would be.
Captain.
That's his title.
Whatever.
Anyway, just an excellent character.
I love Captain America.
He is Superman for the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I love that he fights.
He's the standard bearer.
I love that he fights with a shield. I think it's really cool.
Defensive weapon that he utilizes.
When Stanley makes it where it bounces, that was so great.
I think it was bouncing before then.
I don't think so. I think that somebody else created Cap, but I think it was Stan Lee and Kirby who.
Well, we'll check on that. Well, Kirby's always been involved with Cap.
Oops. Anyway, so love that.
Thank God for Stan Lee bringing Captain America back in Avengers number 4.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 4, because if it's 4, that's 8. But 4. It was a fantastic idea to bring back the great World War II hero. Yeah, so I mean, I guess our biggest takeaway is so many of our favorite characters Stan Lee created, huh?
That's right.
Sucks that he died.
Okay.
But Six Hulk will live on.
That's right. In honor of Stan Lee. I'm good. Anyways.
Should have made him crying a little bit.
Crying, tears. This might be too much.
Just little drops.
That's too much.
Just like 2 drops coming straight off the tip there. Marvel, DC, you guys make it hard for us to want to buy your comics sometimes. But we appreciate that you make them, that you make movies. We want good movies, though. So, DC, get on that. More toward Wonder Woman, less toward Batman versus Superman. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say. We're about done with this video.
Thanks for watching. Sorry, we're doing dumb stuff here.
Yeah.
Six Hulk, Miss Stan Lee. So, thanks for liking and commenting and subscribing.
Like us here.
We appreciate
Facebook.
it here. If you want to see more of Six Hulk, let us know.
We'll find a way to work them into every conversation.
Oh man,
because we do that with
other things. I mean, we had no intention of doing this; it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
spontaneity.
Leave us a like and comment if you haven't already. Subscribe. We want to welcome you to the family, the community of comic book lovers.
True believers, as Stan Lee would say.
That's right. So we're got a live video in a few minutes.
About an hour and a half.
So I'm going to go ahead and post this so you can see here. And then, although if you're watching this, you might be missing the live video now. Anyways.
You got time.
Yeah. Anyways, so if we miss you there, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And And then if you haven't already, go ahead and do that comic book giveaway. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Next weekend we will announce a winner. So we will catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.